evening, TheoTrade. This is Corey Rosenblum, and you're watching the Theo Nightly Video for the 27th of October on a very big day, at least for the Nasdaq, here in 2022. Let's get right to it. But before we talk about earnings, which will be the focus of tonight's video, mainly Amazon, we know that a lot of other stocks had earnings too. But let's kick it off with 3,900 on the S&P. That was a bear market rally target we've had for a couple of weeks now, given just the explanation on that even in a bear market, even in a downtrend, stocks and prices don't go straight down. They go up, they go down, but we can quantify that through linear regression or trend lines or the concept of lower low, lower high, and we can plot the downtrend and the sell swings in the direction of the downtrend. Think about that like the big arrow. And when the market goes down, that goes with the big arrow. And when it goes against it, that's a counter trend rally. They can move. They can be a little bit larger than expected, but they are counter trend rallies, or as we'll call them, bear market rallies. And looking at the others, the target for this one was 3,900, that area in the SPX. So that is hit. That bear market rally could be over. We'll be watching that through the remainder of October and into, of course, November. So that is a big picture. And while we are momentarily on the big picture, let's look at the bond market. All of these pullbacks or bear market or counter trend rallies took place across the board where you would expect them. The bond market, TLT, had its counter trend rally up away from 92 for the TLT. ZN had it off that 109, and ZB, the 30-year bond, although it keeps trending down, the price did have a counter trend or bear market rally or reaction. That also took place within Treasury yields. Again, the big arrow is up, but it doesn't mean every day, every week, or certainly every month is going to be up. There will be moves against that big up arrow, and we just saw one take place from this 4.4% on the 10-year Treasury note yield. Not to be outdone, the same logic and the same pullback took place on the dollar index. So we still have that uptrend, still have those higher highs, higher lows, still have trades favoring the bull side of the bond market. And again, that big arrow does point higher, but that doesn't mean every day, every week, or every month is going to be higher. So there is the pullback in the dollar. And now we can think about potentially playing back to highs. We'll probably cover that and that logic and those setups in the next week's video. Right now, let's go back to where we started and what is on all of our minds right now. Earnings, and more earnings. So quickly to review, in today's session, in the S&P 100, just to know where the daily chart is, and right here is the 1-minute chart. These reported before the bell. Was Comcast, its bear market rally. Honeywell, which is a pushback to the 200 per share. That's on the earnings. AMT, American Tower, came again off those lows. Caterpillar, which is in a sideways trading range, not a downtrend, just to be clear. That arrow does not point down, it points more sideways. Again, that big arrow going down, going up, going sideways. Caterpillar is a sideways stock that just pulled back or rallied back in the trading range between about 180 and about 220 per share. Linde, similar to Caterpillar, just came up off its support lows, 260 or so per share. MasterCard, not dissimilar, not out of the realm of a pullback or a bounce. McDonald's is a strong stock getting stronger. Again, more of a sideways trading range. That's the big arrow. Think about that like the fundamentals. And the sideways action gives short sell opportunities at the top, which is where we are, or long buy opportunities at the lows. And a couple others, Altria and Merck extends new highs. And Southern Company is off of its lows. T-Mobile had earnings, but here we go. Apple just reported earnings, and now we're going to be seeing this similar to what we had on Tuesday with the expected move. If you have any positions, butterflies, or in-out spreads, or anything else taking advantage of these earning plays, now that will be beyond it going into November, these are the levels to watch for Friday. And it would be expected move type logic. So what was or is the earnings-based expected move for Apple? Reported after the bell, roughly 138% with the near term. That's Friday expiration. And we had an 8.25 expected move. Where does that place the shares at the moment? 8.25 down. Right here is about 8.25. And that is where Apple had a post-market earnings decline, hit that expected move, and then went straight back to unchanged. So at the moment, again, this can change quickly, especially with earnings, but before Friday, at the moment after the bell, Apple shares have tumbled and traded right back to where they close, meaning it won't be any different unless something changes before Friday's open. But it does have that expected move of about $8.25. Let's look at Intel. Intel, what was its expected move? Now that had a 242% implied volatility, but that translated to a $2.6 up or down expected move. Has that taken place? 2.6. Answer is yes. Similarly, Intel shares at the moment have had their earnings-based announcement. The share prices jumped to that expected move target, and at the moment have traded down from it. I did save the best. There are others. That would include Gilead, Capital One Financial, and you can all go through these on the charts. But again, best for last, Amazon. Amazon missed. Amazon missed on earnings, missed on their expectation and guidance, and their stock, which had a 253% implied volatility going into today's session at the end of the day at the close, was about $11.62. Where is it now? Where is $11.62? Right about here. Now that market has gone double, literally double the expected move. Not 11.62, but around 22 or so dollars. That puts it at 87, almost 88 per share. And to see where we are and where we could be opening on Friday's session, that'll be another new 52-week low for this technology stock, Amazon, which is a weak stock getting weaker. And for reference, we just saw a similar thing happen with, and I'll still call it Facebook, with Meta, with their earnings, took that stock larger than the expected move down to, at the moment, 97, 98 per share, which again pushes off new 52-week lows for this technology stock that continues to be under pressure. Other technology stocks, and of course the Nasdaq is part of this larger play, and we'll see this on the visualize. This is our Nasdaq 100. These stocks contribute the most to the index, its product, and its movement. So while the Russell and the Dow closed the session up a little bit, the Nasdaq, which is again tech heavy, is at the moment down 3%, which is building on a loss from yesterday's session as well. Deep loss for the Nasdaq and the technology sector. And those are on Apple or on Amazon earnings. Apple is having a little bit of a relief rally. So these things will be in focus for Friday. But outside of that, of course, any sector movement, things that are a little more bullish, and that's the strange thing about today's session and yesterday. Despite the large sell-off and liquidation in major technology, or we call them here in TheoTrade, monsters of tech, generally speaking, the remaining sectors and many stocks closed the session up today and closed the session up yesterday. So there is a little split in the market and, of course, in earnings. But there is a lot to take in, far more that we can cover in a 10-minute video. But this will get us started thinking about where the markets are, what are we looking at, which earnings had impact, which ones did not have as much of an impact, which remain well outside the expected move and will require hedging or some different positions to get back in line with risk. And that would be across the board. And of course, which ones stayed within their bounds or which ones didn't move at all. Sometimes that happens too with earnings. As always, be careful and safe. Lot to cover, lot to position with, and we'll have the weekend coming up shortly. This is Corey Rosenlund with TheoTrade video update for October 27th, 2022.